Good day, engineers. So today we are going to discuss about money-time relationships and equivalence. So under this chapter, we will be talking about interest and cash flow and yung mga nominal and effective rate of interest, including the equivalent nominal interest. But first, we will talk about the concept of time value of money. So money makes money. This is true because if we invest money today, by tomorrow we will have accumulated more money than what we had originally invested. And also, if you borrow money today, you will have to pay in the future an amount that is larger on what you have originally owed. This change in the amount of money over a given time period is called the time value of money. So interest, this is the amount of money paid for the use of borrowed capital or the income produced by money which has been loaned. So under interest, we have two types. So the first one is the simple interest and the second one is the compound interest. Compound interest. So let's start with the simple interest. So simple interest, it is calculated using the principal only, ignoring any interest that had been accrued in preceding periods. In practice, simple interest is paid on short-term loans in which the time of the loan is measured in days. So we have here I is equals to PIN. So ipin ang tawag namin dyan dati. So ito, I natin is the interest, P is the principal or the present worth, I is the rate of interest per interest period, and N is the number of interest period in year. So, sa pagkuha ng future worth, meron tayo dito yung present worth natin plus the interest. And ang I natin kanina ay PIN. So, ito na siya, magiging PIN. So, F is equals to P plus PIN. Pwede nating ilabas si P. 'Di ba? Ilalabas natin si P. Kapag nilabas na natin si P, meron na tayong 1 plus I N. So, itong formula na to, and ito, pakitandaan. Pwede rin naman kahit na hindi nyo natandaan to, kasi na-derive lang naman yan. So, ang tandaan nyo na lang is, ang future worth is present plus interest. So, ganyan na lang. Tapos, i-derive nyo na lang para mapunta tayo sa formula na ito. So, under simple interest, meron tayong dalawa. Ordinary simple interest at saka exact simple interest. So, dito sa ordinary simple interest, it is based on the basis of 12 months of 30 days. So, each of 360 days a year. So, one interest period, 360 days. So, sa ordinary simple interest, meron tayong 360 days. Dahil ang isang buwan daw ay kinukuha nila as 30 days. Kahit February yan. Diba ang February is 28 tsaka 29 lang. So, kahit February, 30 days pa rin yung bilang. Kaya, ang isang interest period kapag sinabing ordinary simple interest ay 360 days. So, next is exact simple interest. So, is based on exact number of days in a year. So, 365 days for an ordinary year and 366 days for a leap year. So, meron kayong tatandaan na sa ordinary simple interest, meron tayong 360 days. Tama? And sa exact simple interest, meron tayong dalawa. So, 365 days kapag ordinary year. Ordinary year. And 366 days kapag leap year. So, paano ba natin masasabing leap year siya? So, leap year is a year of 366 days occurring each fourth year. The additional day is February 29. It is a year whose number is exactly divisible by 4, or in the case of century years, by 400. So, example tayo, 1999. So, 1999, i-divide natin sa 4. 1999 divided by 4. So, may butal siya, di ba? 499.75. So, ibig sabihin, hindi siya leap year. Not leap year. Not leap year. So, ano siya? Ordinary year lang. Parang ganun. Ano ba itong mga year na divisible by 4? Ang 2000. 2000. So, ang 2000, kapag dinivide natin sa 4, exact na 500. So, ibig sabihin ang 2000 na year ay leap year. Pero 2,000, divide natin sa 400. So, di ba ang unang pag-check natin kung divisible by 4? Tapos, ang pangalawang pag-check natin is kung divisible ba siya by 400. So, yun yung matatawag na leap year. So, meron kasi yung iba, kahit na hindi sila divisible by 4, pero kapag dinivide mo naman sila ng 400, so, nakukuha niya. Hanapin ko sana yung parang binigay sa amin ng review center kung paano malalaman yung leap year. Kaso, hindi ko na mahanap. So, ayun, ganyan na lang. So, punta na tayo sa ating mga examples. So, example number 1, determine the ordinary simple interest on 700 for 8 months and 15 days if the rate of interest is 15%. So, basahin. Ordinary simple interest. Diba? Kapag sinabing ordinary simple interest, meron tayong, sa isang taon, meron tayong 360 days. So, sabi ko lang kanina yan ha. Una, sulat muna natin yung mga given. Given natin is P, 700 or pesos. 700 pesos. So, ano is 700 pesos? 700 pesos natin is the present worth. So, 700 pesos. Ang I natin, binigay, 15%. Or kapag ginawa natin siyang decimal, 0.15. Divide lang natin siya sa 100. Next, N natin is 8 months and 15 days. Pero kailangan naka-year tayo. Sulat natin, 8 months and 15 days. Pero kailangan in terms tayo sa year. Yun yung sinabi doon kanina sa may formula, di ba? dapat ang end daw ay naka-year. So, convert natin. Since sinabi ordinary simple interest siya, di ba? So, sa 8 months, ang sabi kapag ordinary simple interest, ang 1 month daw natin ay merong 30 days. Plus 15 days. So, cancel natin tong months. Ang matitira ay days. So, 8 times 30 is 8 times 30, 240 plus 15, 255 days. And sabi, naka-year dapat. So, sa isang year ng ordinary simple interest, meron tayong 360 days. So, ayan. Pwede nating isulat na 255 over 360 year. So, ganyan na lang yung gagawin natin kasi kapag kinuha natin yung decimal places, magkakaroon tayo ng konting difference. So, pwede na yan, 255 over 360 year. So, formula, anong hinahanap? Interest. So, ang interest ay PIN o ipin. So, meron tayong P, di ba? Meron tayong I, and meron na tayong N. So, salpak lang natin sa formula. 700 times 0.15. N natin is 255 over 360. Sagot ay is equals to 74.38 pesos. So, yan yung interest na na-accumulate. Next. Determine the exact simple interest on 500 pesos for the period from January 10 to October 28, 1996 at 16% interest. So, first, i-check muna natin kung leap year. Check natin. Check if leap year. Wait, check ko nga kung nag-correct. So, check natin if leap year. 1996 divided by 4. So, 1996 divided by 4. 499. 499. So, divisible. Divisible by 4. So, check. Therefore, leap year. Leap year. So, ngayon, sulat natin yung mga given. Given. Wait lang. Ang gulo ng sulat ko. Wait lang, post ko muna, tas ayusin ko. Ay, tuloy na lang natin. Given natin is P or the present work is 500 pesos. Ang I natin na binigay ay 16% or 0.16. And ang N natin, January 10 to October 28, 1996. So, ma'am, paano yan? Bibilangin ba natin isa-isa araw-araw? Yes, bibilangin natin. Ngayon, sa January 10, wait, may papakita muna ako sa inyo. Pakita ko muna tong technique or the knuckle method daw to. So, kunin nyo yung inyong fist. Tapos, kapag sa knuckle, ito, sundan nyo January, February, lumubog. March, April, May, June, July. So, January, February, March, April, May, June, July. So, si July nasa taas, diba? O, nasa taas si July. Ngayon, August, September, October, November, December. So, sayang hindi natin face-to-face to, no? Pero, pakita ko ulit sa inyo sa next class natin. So, ayan. Kapag nasa taas, or yung tinatawag na knuckle, yun yung 31 days. Tama? And ang February, since leap year naman siya, kapag leap year kasi, yun yung 366 days. So, ibig sabihin, meron tayong February 29. Kaya nagiging 366 days ang isang taon. Pero kapag February 28 lang, 365 lang. So, sana na-gets nyo kapag ordinary year lang. Alam nyo na pinagkaiba sana nan. So, balik tayo dito sa ating kamay. January is nasa taas, February nasa baba, March nasa taas, so 31 days. Lahat ng mga nasa knuckle ay 31 days. And yung mga lumubog, maliban sa February, yun yung mga 30 days. So, ulitin natin ito sa face-to-face natin. So, punta ulit tayo sa ating problem. Sulat ko ulit, given. Ang given natin dito ay P equals to 500 pesos. Ang I natin ay 16% or 0.16. And ang N natin, simulan natin sa January 10 to 31. So, meron tayong 21 days. Feb 1 to 29. 29 kasi leap year. So, 29 days. March natin, 1 to 31. April natin ay 1 to 30. May, 1 to 31. June, 1 to 30. July, 1 to 31. August, 1 to 31. So, unahin muna natin dito. Kasi hindi na kasya. Meron tayong 29. Ito, 31 days. 30 days, 31. June natin is 30. 31, 31. So, days yan August. Tuloy ko na lang September dito sa taas. Sa September natin ay 1 to 30. So, 30 days. And the October hanggang 28 lang daw. 1 to 28. So, meron tayong 28 days. So, kapag pinag-add natin lahat yan, makukuha natin ay 292 days. So, formula sa pagkuha ng interest ay ipin. P is 500. I is 0.16. N is 292 over. So, anong over natin? 366. Since itong 1996 po ay isang leap year. So, paulit-ulit kong sinasabi para maalala nyo. So, 500 times 0.16, 292 over 366 is 63.83. 63.83. So, sana nakuha nyo to Next, number 3. What will be the future worth of money after 14 months? If a sum of 10,000 is invested today at a simple interest rate of 12% per year. So, ang tinatanong dito is the future worth. And ano na ba yung formula ng ating future worth? Diba ang future worth lang naman ay the present worth plus interest? So, yan. Sulat muna natin yung ating mga given. Given natin ay P is equals to 10,000. I is equals to 12% or 0.12. N is 14 months. So, convert muna natin to into year. So, meron tayong 1 year is 12 months. So, cancel si months. Matitira si year. So, meron tayong 14 over 12 year. Ngayon, formula, F is equals to P plus I. Where ang I natin is pin. And, pwede natin gawing P1 plus IN. So, IN yan. Meron na tayong P is 10,000. 1 plus ang I natin is 0.12. And the N is 14 over 12. So, F is equals to 10,000. 1 plus 0.12. 14 over 12. Wait lang. Sabayan nyo ako mag-calcu para ma-practice kayo mag-input ng sa calcu nyo 11,000. 11,400. So, madali lang, no? Next, number 4. A broadband service company borrowed 2 million for new equipment and repaid the loan in the amount of 2.5 million after 1 year. What was the interest rate of the loan? So, ang tinatanong is the interest rate. So, sulat natin ang mga given. Ang given natin is, ano tong 2 million? Borrowed. So, humiram siya ng 2 million. So, ibig sabihin, yun yung present worth. 2 million. And then, after 1 year daw, binayaran niya yung utang niya ng 2.5 million. So, yun yung future worth natin. 2.5 million. And then, ang N natin is 1 year. So, hindi na natin kailangan i-convert since naka-year na siya. And then, I natin is yung hinahanap. So, formula, F is equals to P 1 plus I N. So, ang F natin is 2, ang F natin is 2.5 million. And then, ang P natin ay 2 million. And then, 1 plus, ang I natin is yung hinahanap, then N is 1. So, pwede na natin i-shift solve. So, lahat ba marunong na mag-shift solve? So, ang lalabas is 0.25. Times natin sa 100, magiging 25%. So, ito na yung ating sagot. So, next problem. Number 5. Last year, Jane's grandmother offered to put enough money into a savings account to generate 1,000 this year to help Jane's expenses. Calculate the amount that had to be deposited exactly. Bakit X lang yan? Exactly 1 year ago to earn 1,000 interest now, if the rate of return is 6,000 per year. So, dito, sabi niya, to generate 1,000 pesos this year. Ibig sabihin ng to generate, so ano yung i-generate niya? Yung interest natin. So, kailangan daw yung grandmother ni Jane ay makapag-generate ng 1,000 pesos. So, yun yung interest natin. To help Jane's expenses, calculate the amount that had to be deposited. So, that had to be deposited. So, ano ito? Yung kailangan daw i-deposit. So, ibig sabihin, ito yung present worth natin. So, yun yung hinahanap natin. Magkano daw yung amount na kailangan i-deposit para maka-generate or makakuha tayo ng interest na, so, given muna tayo, given, interest na 1,000 pesos. If the rate of return is 6,000 per year. And sinabi na din ng N, which is 1 year. And then, ang I natin is 6%. So, meron tayong 0.06 na interest rate. Nahanap si P, and ang formula na gagamitin natin is ipin. So, interest natin na kailangan mabuo is 1,000. Ang P natin is yung hinahanap. Ang I natin is 0.06. Ang N natin is 1 year. So, P natin dito is 16,666.67 pesos. So, ayan lang. Ang haba ng problem pero yung solution, maikli lang, no? So, itong X, ang alam ko exactly to eh. Exactly. So, check ko na lang. So, tapos na tayo sa mga example ng simple interest. So, tuloy. Punta naman tayo sa compound interest. In calculations of compound interest, the interest for an interest period is calculated on the principal plus total amount of interest accumulated in previous periods. Thus, compound interest means interest on top of interest. Compound interest also reflects the effect of the time value of money on the interest. So, ito yung formula natin dito sa compound interest. So, paki-tandaan po. So, as the time goes by, the amount of money increases dito sa ating compound interest. Next, ito yung tinatawag na cash flow diagram. So, cash flow diagram on borrower's viewpoint. So, sa mga humiram. So, kapag humiram ka ng pera, so ito yung present worth. And then, pag nagbayad ka, yun yung future worth. Bababa. So, mamaya, i-discuss natin tong mga cash flow diagram. Cash flow diagram. Okay, check ko nga. Yan. So, the quantity 1 plus I raised to n is commonly called the single payment compound amount factor and is defined by the functional symbol f over p, I percent, and thus f is equals to p, f over p, I percent, n. So, the symbol f over p, I percent, n is read as f given p at I percent in an interest period. So, ganyan daw po basahin yan. So, the quantity 1 plus I raised to n is called the single payment present worth factor and is defined by the functional symbol P over F I percent n, thus P is equals to F P of P given F at I percent in any interest period. So, hindi naman natin to magagamit kasi as far as I remember, ito ginagamit nila pag shortcut ata. So, ayan. Pero hindi ko alam gamitin yan. Hindi na rin masyadong inelaborate sa amin nung nag-re-review kami for board exam. So, punta na tayo sa elements of compound interest. So, dito, ang P natin is the present worth or principal. So, same lang. And the F is the future worth. I is the effective interest per compounding period. So, effective interest. So, I is equals to R over M, where R is the nominal interest rate and M is the number of compounding per year. So, N is the total number of compoundings. And N is equals to T times M. And ang T natin is the number of years of investment. And the M is the number of compounding per year. So, I is the interest earned. So, parang ganun din. F is equals to P or the future minus the present. Or yung kanina, P is F. Ano na yung kanina? Yung kanina ay yung F is equals to P plus I. So, ganyan kanina. So, dito tayo sa M. Yung M natin dito is the number of compounding per year. So, kapag sinabing semi-annually, M is equals to 2. Pag sinabing annually, M is equals to 1. Quarterly, M is equals to 4. Monthly, M is equals to 12. And bi-monthly, M is equals to 6. So, try natin dito. Mag-example tayo. Meron tayong nominal interest rate or yung R natin na 12%. And then, N natin is, T natin is, T natin is 5 years. So, kapag sinabi na quarterly, so quarterly, ito ang quarterly. So, ang I natin is equals to R over M, di ba? Ang R natin is 0.12 and ang M natin kapag quarterly is 4. So, 0.12 over 4 ay 0.03. So, yan yung ating I. And then, yung N natin is T times M. Ang T natin is 5 years. Ang M natin na quarterly ay 4. So, ang N natin is 20. So, parang ganyan. Next, continuous compoundings, or M is infinity. Interest may be compounded daily, hourly, per minute, etc. As a limit, interest may be considered to be compounded in infinite number of times per year. The future worth of P at an interest rate of R compounded continuously for T years is F is equals to PERT or F PERT. PERT ang tawag namin. PERT. F is equals to PERT. So, ito kapag sinabing compounded continuously. So, kapag nabasa niyang compounded continuously, yan ang gagamitin natin. Next, punta na tayo sa ating examples for the compound interest. Number 1, accumulate 5,000 pesos for 10 years at 8% compounded quarterly. So, sinabing quarterly, and kapag sinabing quarterly, M is equals to 4. So, paki-memorize lahat yun ha. Number 1 ay given. R is 8% or 0.08. M is 4. N is 10 years. 10 years. And P is 5,000 pesos. So, future worth yung hinahanap. F is equals to P times 1 plus I raised to N. Bakit N yung sinulat ko dito? T ito. So, 5,000 times 1 plus ang I natin dito is, ano na yung I kanina? I is equals to R over M. And then yung N natin is T times M. So, I natin is 0.08 over 4. And 10 times 4. So, kapag sinolve natin yan, 11,004.2 F. So, itong formula na to, gagamitin natin sa pagkuha ng future worth sa compound interest. Compound interest. So, number 2, accumulate 5,000 for 10 years at 8% compounded semi-annually. So, yun lang yung naiba. Sulat natin, R is given. R is 8% or 0.08. M is, kapag semi-annually, is 2. T is 10 years. 10 years. And P is 5,000 pesos. So, formula, F is equals to P, 1 plus I raised to N. So, P natin is 5,000. 1 plus I na 0.08 over 2. And then, 10 times 2. So, F natin is 10,955.62. So, next example, how long will it take 1,000 pesos to amount to 1,346 if invested at 6% compounded quarterly? So, sabi niya, gaano katagal na ang 1,000 pesos daw ay magiging 1,346. So, ibig sabihin, ang 1,000 dito is the present worth. 1,000. And then the future worth is 1,346. R natin is 6% or 0.06. And then ang M natin is quarterly, so 4. Formula, F is equals to P, 1 plus I raised to N. So, F natin is 1,346. P natin is 1,000. 1 plus 0.06 over 4. Then, yung N natin is T times 4. So, shift solve 4.99 or 5 years. So, last, number 4. If the compound interest on 3,000 in 2 years is 500, then the compounded interest on 3,000 in 4 years is. So, we are going to make a comparison. So, first given, sulat natin. Present worth natin is 3,000. Present worth natin is 3,000. Then, ang unang taon, 2 years daw. Sa T1 natin is 2 years. Yung interest nun is 500 pesos. Ngayon, nung 4 years or T2, 4 years, ilan daw yung kanyang interest? Doon sa 3,000 pa rin. So, I1 or the interest 1, F minus P. So, 500 is equals to F. Ang F natin is, ano na yung F natin? P, 1 plus I raised to N. So, P natin is 3,000. 1 plus, ang I natin is, kulang yung, I natin, and N natin is 2 years minus 3,000. So, I natin dito ay 0.08 or 8%. So, sa I2 natin, Ang tinatanong is kung ilan ang interest, di ba? So, F minus P ulit. And ang F natin is 3,000. 1 plus 0.08 raised to 4 years. Kasi 4 years na yun sa tinatanong. Minus 300. So, ang interest natin kapag 4 na taon ay 1,081.47. So, ito na yung kanyang interest. Di ba, ma'am, Ma'am, sabi niya kapag 2 years daw 500. So, ibig sabihin kapag 4 years, 2 taon din yung nadagdag. So, ibig sabihin ang I2 natin is pwedeng 1,000 na lang. So, hindi po. Kasi nasa compound interest tayo. And sabi kapag compound interest, di ba, yung interest ay iniinteresan. Parang ganon. Kung simple interest, pwede. Pero kapag nandito tayo sa compound interest, which is yung sabi kanina dun sa meaning or sa sabi niya is, ano ba yun? Compound interest means interest on top of interest. So, yan na yung 81 pesos. So, next punta na tayo sa the concept of equivalence. So, dito, meron tayong nominal and effective rate of interest. Nominal rate is the rate quoted describing a given variety of compound interest. So, consider a bank account 1,000 pesos to earn 6% compounded quarterly. After 1 year, the component amount F is, so ito, formula, magiging, yung 1,000 natin is 1,061.36 na. Kasi compounded quarterly. So, parang kanina lang din to. Notice that the interest earned is 61.36, representing 6.136% of 1,000, not 6% at 1,000. For this case, 6% compounded quarterly is called the nominal rate, and the 6.136 is the effective rate. So, yun yung pinagkaiba ng effective at nominal rate. So, nominal and effective. Thus, the effective rate of interest is actual interest earned in 1 year period. This can be computed by either of the following figure. So, ito yung ating formula for the effective rate. Thus, the effective rate of 6% compounded quarterly is, so, ayan na siya. 6.136%. So, yun yung nakuha kanina, di ba? So, punta na tayo. The effective rate of R percent compounded continuously is ER is equals to E raised to R minus 1. Paki-memorize din po ito. And then yung kanina. So, ito. Paki-memorize din ito. And then, ito. So, pinagkaiba nila, ito kapag effective rate na compounded continuously. So, ito yung gagamitin natin. Equivalent nominal rates. From the previous discussion, we see that 6% compounded quarterly is not the same as 6% compounded monthly. For the reason that they have different effective rates, the nominal rates are equal if they have the same effective rates. So, parang yan din yung kanina, yung sa 6% and the 6.136%. So, punta na tayo sa example. What is the effective rate for an interest rate of 12% compounded continuously, continuous 1 year? Parang mali yung tanong. So, sabi, what is the effective rate? Compounded continuous. Wait lang. compounded continuously. So, kanina ang sabi natin ang formula kapag compounded continuous na effective rate ay ER is equals to E raised to R minus 1. So, continuous effective rate. Ito yung formula kapag continuous effective rate. So, R is 12%. So, yun lang naman yung nag-iisang given. So, 0.12. Pati ako nagugulan na. So, ER is equals to E raised to 0.12 minus 1. So, paki-input lang to. Meron ito sa calcu nyo yung E or the exponential. E raised to 0.12 minus 1. Ang lalabas ay 0.1275 ER or times natin sa 100 magiging 12.75%. So, yan yung effective rate natin compounded continuous or continuously compounded. Next, an interest rate of 8% compounded semi-annually is how many percent compounded quarterly? So, ito, we will make ulit, making comparison ulit. So, given natin, so R1 natin is 8%, diba? And the M1 natin is compounded semi-annually. Semi-annually is 2. Ngayon ang tinatanong, how many percent ng interest rate kapag compounded quarterly. So, kapag compounded quarterly is 4. So, ang tinatanong is itong R2 natin. So, sulat natin yung formula, ER. ER na semi-annually is equals to ER ng compounded quarterly. So, ER is, ito yun yung formula na kanina. ER is equals to 1 plus R over M raised to M minus 1. So, 1 plus R1 natin. Sulat ko na lang muna. R1 over M1 raised to M1 minus 1 is equals to 1 plus R2 over M2 raised to M2 minus 1. So, 1 plus 0.08 over 2 raised to 2 minus 1 is equals to 1 plus R sub 2. Tapos yung M2 natin is 4 raised to 4 minus 1. Pwede na natin alisin tong negative 1 Pero wag na lang para hindi kayo malito. So, shift solve nyo, makukuha nyo yung R2 na 0.0792 or 7.92%. So, ito yung ating effective interest rate kapag compounded quarterly. So, last problem. The nominal interest rate is 4%. How much is my 10,000 worth in 10 years in a continuously compounded account? So, sabi niya continuously compounded account. Kapag ganyan, ito yung naligaw na problem. Kailangan, dapat nasa ano to? Nasa compound interest. So, F is equals to per. Tama ba? Bakit? Kasi, Sabi niya dyan, continuously compounded. And ang dami ding binigay na mga problem. Yung isa kasi continuously compounded pero ang binigay lang, di ba, yung effective rate or the R rate, interest rate pala. So, ito, binigyan tayo ng interest rate and then yung present worth natin. Tapos, may time din. Or, time. So, F is equals to P, 10,000, E raised to 0.04, then 10 years. Input sa calcu, lalabas 14918.25. So, yan. I-review nyo mabuti itong mga problem na mga binigay ko, ha. Kasi halos ganyan din naman yung lumalabas sa board exam. As in, ganyan lang. So, malay nyo, lumabas din sa quiz tsaka sa midterm exam natin, di ba? So, next, punta na tayo sa tinatawag na cash flows. Cash flows are the fundamental tool in engineering economic analysis. Cash flows represent transactions in which money changes hands between two or more parties. Cash flow diagram or a cash flow diagram is simply a graphical representation of cash flows drawn on a time scale. Cash flow diagram for economic analysis problems is analogous to that of free body diagram for mechanics problem. Diba meron kayong statics of rigid bodies? So, itong cash flow diagram ay parang free body diagram sa inyong statics of rigid bodies. So, there are some basic rules for creating cash flow diagrams. Time is represented by horizontal line. So, ito. Horizontal is pahiga. Mark with number of periods. So, itong mga nakikita nyong 0, 1, may 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, yan yung number of periods in the analysis. The choice of time interval will reflect the project or transactions being considered. So, kapag 10 years lang naman, so, pwede na tong 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years. Kapag pwede rin nyo naman gamitin na every 5 years, 5, 10, 15. So, pwede din ganyan. The horizontal position of each arrow indicates the timing of the cash flow. So, makikita nyo itong mga arrow. So, kung saan sila tumapat, doon sa horizontal line natin or sa period natin, ibig sabihin doon yung timing ng cash flow na yon. For example, itong 550, nakatapat siya sa 6. So, ibig sabihin nung 6th year, nung 6th year yan, nangyari, yung $550. So, sana nagigets nyo. Pati ako nagugulan na din sa sarili ko. Layo mo, bra. Next, upward arrows represent positive cash flows, also known as inflows, income, or receipt. Downward arrows represent negative cash flow, also known as outflows, disbursements, or expenses. So, each arrow represents the net cash flow in that period. There is only one cash flow arrow for each period representing this net value. So, punta tayo sa example. A loan of 100 pesos at simple interest of 10% will become 150 after 5 years. So, first, i-drawing muna natin yung ating horizontal line for the timing or the number of periods. Sabi niya, 5 years. So, 1 ay 0. Tapos 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Tsaka 5. Sabi, nag-loan daw siya. Nag-loan siya ng 100 pesos. So, ito viewpoint ng viewpoint. Asan na ba yun? Viewpoint. Viewpoint of the borrower. Borrower. So, ito parang POV ng humihiram. So, kapag humiram daw siya ng 100 pesos. So, ito na yung 100 pesos na hiniram mo. Tapos, sabi niya, sa 5 years daw, after 5 years, magiging 150 na. So, anong ibig sabihin nun? Nagkaroon ng interest na 50 pesos. Pero after 5 years, babayaran mo na. So, ibig sabihin, so, pababa na siya sa'yo kasi parang nilabas mo na eh. Ito natanggap mo, kaya pataas. Tama? Ito, babayaran mo na after 5 years. So, pababa na siya. So, ito na yung 150. Yan yung viewpoint ng borrower. Ito naman, viewpoint ng or the POV ng lender. So, sa inutangan mo. Doon sa inutangan mo, baliktad. Kasi siya yung nawalan ng pera kasi inutang mo. O, di ba? Ikaw na nga, inutangan mo na nga nawalan pa ng pera. So, dahil inutang mo yung pera niya, pababa sa kanya. Kasi parang nilabas niya sa bulsa niya, parang ganon. Ngayon, after 5 years, di ba magbabayad ka na sa kanya? 4. So, after 5 years, magbabayad ka na sa kanya. So, magkakaroon na siya ng 150 pesos. Kaya pataas siya kasi nagkaroon na siya ng pera. So, sana na-gets nyo itong viewpoint ng borrower tsaka viewpoint ng lender. So, gusto nyo ba magpa-quiz ako ng ganyan? Simple lang naman yung mga cash flow diagram. So, yun lang. Yan lang yung example ko sa aking cash flow diagram. Ang next na topic natin or lesson natin is annuities. So, magbasa-basa kayo sa annuities. Kapag may di kayo na-gets dito, pwede natin i-discuss ulit. Hindi naman lahat Pwede kayo magtanong sa akin. So, yun lang. Thank you for listening and watching. I hope na naintindihan nyo kahit na medyo magulo ako mag-discuss. So, yun. Paki-comment na lang po yung done watching, name, and section. So, bye-bye. Thank you for listening. Bye.